our founding fathers put in a system of a divided government. That's a good thing. You know, it's a double-edged sword. We talk about the difficulty with getting things done in Washington, D.C., and it is difficult. And the reason that it's difficult, by and large, is that our founding fathers designed it to be difficult. They put this system of checks and balances and this, the House, the Senate, the administration, or the executive, and then the Supreme Court and the Judicial Department to make sure that we follow the rules. But they set it up that way intentionally so that future presidents and future Congresses and Senates didn't come along and start undermining all of the hard work that they had done to put this in place. And if you read that document, the Constitution of the United States, you can read it in about 20 minutes. I guarantee you, anybody in here that runs a business, if you've got a buy-sell agreement, the Constitution is probably shorter than any buy-sell agreement that you've got with a subchapter S or an LLC or anything else. It is a simple document, and it is brilliant in its simplicity because it puts the power in the hands of the governed. And but because it does that, it creates this very deliberative, debative process to change anything. And right now, there is no law other than your vote on November 6th that holds your elected representatives and senators accountable for doing what they're supposed to do under the law.
Sounds kind of nutty to me because if it's a part of the Constitution, one would think, you know, do what you have to do. But they don't have to do it, and it's okay. They write a law that they don't have to obey.
You would think.
Yeah, one would think. The other question I do have is, what's Congress going to do or doing about this infringement about the religion of the First Amendment that Obama is trying to push through, that the Catholic Church, etc., has to pay for this stuff?
We're going to continue to fight that. You know, the administration has tried to turn that into an issue of contraception. It is not an issue of contraception. I've got a wife, I've got 2 daughters, I've got 4 granddaughters. I am in no way trying to tell women what they can and cannot do in terms of having access to contraception. That's not what the President's bill does. The President's bill, the law, puts a mandate on religious organizations who find it offensive and against their individual religious freedoms to provide those kinds of things, and they shouldn't have to. Religious organizations and individuals should not have to choose between breaking the law or providing the care. They should be able to do what their religious principles say. Religious freedom is one of the foundational elements of the Constitution of the United States. The First Amendment to the Constitution, you're exactly right. And it's imperative that we stand firm on that. Yes, ma'am?
No, I just wanted to ask Mark, where do you get your steel from?
We have a variety of different suppliers, but most of our steel comes from Chicago. We buy from Central Steel and Wire, also Ryerson Steel, and the new supplier of our 14 gauge. We actually have to go and have mill runs made. Nobody in this country makes a 14 gauge high carbon steel anymore because it's all being used in China to make shovels. We're the only ones. So I literally had to go out. It's another thing of a hindrance growth. We have to buy about 80,000 pounds at a time and have it specifically milled and then for us and then sent to the processors to take it down to the gauge that we need. But all of our materials all are definitely made in the United States.
Because this used to be a steel valve.
Yeah.
You see what's happened. I was just curious as to where you put that.
Yeah, it's all bought with it. You know, we specify that all materials. Obviously, we don't make the raw materials, but we form and do just about everything in-house.
Next question. Surely you guys have got some questions.
The mayor has to have a question. Come on.
Come on, Mr.
Make
Mayor.
it a
You
tough
got
one. Make it a tough one for us.
I'll be quiet.
All right.
As usual.
Any more?
I want to ask a question.
What's your question?
Oh, says the mill, where you get the coils or the steel from your company? We can roll it right down here in Mingo. I know it. I worked there 42 years. I asked him the question today and he knows. I've been harping on this, you know, Marcellus Shell, Utica, that's fine. I love it. More jobs the better. But we got 1,400 people down there, a lot of work for going on 4 years almost. And wouldn't that be easy for you to get it right here in Mingo than
It would be,
Chicago?
it would be great. It would be great if it was stocked also, so I didn't have to buy so much of it. But, yeah,
Because we rolled bill of orders, that's why we were in business all them years. We'd take the 2-bar and 3-bar orders, where the big companies wouldn't do it. They pushed us out of business. And why I don't know that mill, that's a great mill in Mingo.
yeah, when we can, we buy locally. And we don't do the injection molding in-house yet, but we own all the tooling for it. So the D-grip handle or the rubber grip handles on our products, we own the tooling. That's done Boardman, Ohio is where that is made at. So wherever possible, we try to keep it as close as possible. Some of the real heavy stampings we have done at Acme Wire and Stamping in Pittsburgh. Our fiberglass tube is made in West Mifflin, Pennsylvania. So I would say about 90% of our product, or the value of our product, is done within 100 miles of where we stand.
Bill said today that Japan,
Yeah.
10-year,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, we
back
talked-
order, we talked about that. And
Yep.
we can roll that there, Bill, I told you every time.
Yeah, and
While we're not, I have.
you and I, well, I can tell you right now that that's not the House of Representatives keeping that from happening, and you know that. That's a private sector issue, but I believe that you would see a movement on the private sector to go back and begin doing those kinds of things if they had economic certainty that the federal government wasn't going to come in and shut them down with regulatory overreach and a tax burden that would make it difficult for them to be profitable. It starts with creating an environment of entrepreneurship and business excellence. That's where it starts. And that's what I'm working hard in Washington to make sure that we're able to do. Donna, you said do you have a question?
I think there was a question.
We have a question back there? Yes, sir, come on.
No, I don't have. Let me ask you a question. I don't need that microphone. Like recently, in this past year or so, major announcements by major oil companies, bringing in plants, spending hundreds of millions of dollars, starting in Belmont County, and then you drive towards Harrison County, and you drive towards Columbiana County, then you go to Monaco. And part of that, I think all three of those counties are in your area, and you have southern counties also. Is there a reason why they drove around us? Or do you have some plan for the future of Jefferson County where they spend $600 or $800 million in a plant in our county? Is there a reason?
I can't tell you why they're driving around, but they're not driving around. Did you see the ABC report in the fall of last year where they did a special on Steubenville?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Did you see that
I'm aware of
report?
it. Yeah.
10,000 new jobs over the next 3 years. So Steubenville's not being left out of this.
No, they're going to drill on all our property here. They're going to do that. And I was just wondering why those companies located the corporate jobs. I mean, that's the way, you can drive that way. You know, you go to
Yeah.
Belmont County, drive 250 up to Harrison County, cut across to Columbiana County, and go north on Route 7 to Monaco.
I'm always disappointed when they go somewhere else other than where we want them to go. I was disappointed when the Shell company announced that their primary site for that ethylene cracking plant is going to be across the river from East Liverpool in Pennsylvania rather than here in Ohio. I was disappointed in that. So,
Yeah, you don't have any choices, and I realize that. But it just seems kind of strange that, you know, for some reason. I mean, we take in 70% of the garbage that comes into the state of Ohio. That's what we're known for. 70% of all out-of-state garbage that comes into the state of Ohio comes to Jefferson County. I do know that. And we're 1% of the population. And they're going to come here and drill property here, and I have some acres they're drilling. And it just seems like from Columbus to Washington, our community is really deteriorated.
well, I think
we
if
need a lot
Dr.
of help.
Meeks were here and some of the folks, the mayor will certainly tell you, I am promoting Steubenville and this